right, so last week I ran out of fingers, so it's time to bring the feet up into the picture to count for week 11. Yeah, right. You guys wish. Subscribe to my OnlyFans for that kind of content. Anyways, Kyle, Tony, how are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. I'm glad you didn't pull up your toes or your third thumb there to try to count on.
Woo. And Tony's now professor's like, not doing so good.
That would be for week 10 and a half, Kyle.
Good point.
Yeah, it's about how I was feeling about halfway through the weekend. So, yeah, that sounds about right.
Subscribe to our only FFANs.
There you go. Guys, if you haven't noticed yet, we were joined tonight. Our guest is the one, the only Professor. Ayo. You're really the only reason people tune in from week in to week out is really they come on here just to see if you're here. Is kind of
on the off chance I might be on.
Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. So whether you're here or not, people are still tuning in for you. So that's nice.
Well, I don't know if there's any truth to that, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
There's zero truth to it. I'm just kissing your ass. So anyway.
People always slow down to eyeball a train wreck, right? So that's
we're already joined over here in the chat by Massachusetts football guy.
My football guy.
The football guy. Sorry, I gotta say it. He couldn't find Brian on Discord. Hey, man, all I'm saying is Discord sucks. And like I said in the chat earlier today, go over to fantasysportsadvice.network. Sign up for our social media network for fantasy sports. That's all that's on there. It's super cool. Kind of works like Facebook, but kind of better. And it's getting better and better as we keep improving it. And you don't have to put up with all that other crap. And it's a lot easier to use than Discord too. So, and you can find us all over there answering questions all the time. So, oh yeah, I know who you are, Dad Bod. I was in there today. I was in the chat. I know all about it. So yeah, definitely Massachusetts.
I knew that. I was being a dipstick.
We
established it was Massachusetts football guy last year, I think. So
yeah, we did. Massachusetts. Alrighty. Whew, guys. So going into week 11. Wow, we're getting there. It is time to start getting ready for playoffs, hopefully. But I know we talk about this often, the trends in these leagues right now. Kyle, one of our leagues, our home league, we have 3 guys sitting atop with a 7-3 record. And then we have the rest of the league all sitting at 4-6.
Yeah.
All separated by point differential. What the heck is going on? And I feel like most of my leagues are like this. You have your couple at the top, and then it's just jumbled mess. So what the heck, man? It's going to be an interesting stretch here last 3 weeks. If your league is set up correctly, it'll be the last 3 weeks of your season before heading into playoffs. Tony, are your leagues kind of looking that same way?
Yeah, but it's 4 weeks, right? We got 11, 12, 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I can't do math. I wasn't counting 11. I was 14 minus 11, and that's not how this works. So you got 4
more weeks.
Oh, and that's why they call him Professor. He's already graded my work. My gosh.
Who gave this guy a speaking role? Like,
man,
like Deadpool over here.
How did he find that unmute button? That's crazy.
If you're Trump, I'm Elon Musk of the group.
Oh, a little bit odd. Anyways. He's a little odd, but he has some smart things to say. So sure, we put up with him. Anyways, all right, guys. Any storylines for the week that you guys want to discuss?
What's happening at the quarterback position?
Yeah, that is a great
Dak
question.
is out, but Trevor Lawrence is out. I don't know if you've seen the news today, but Chicago Bear players are calling for Bayesian to start.
Yeah, because that's a quarterback problem, I'm sure.
Baker Mayfield is quarterback number 2 on the fantasy season.
Yeah, the quarterback position has been volatile this week. You know, because, okay, so on that note, Sam Darnold starting off the season really strong and then has a bye week and disappears. He's just gone for the rest of the season. What's up with that in that offense?
Talk about him. Yeah, him be replaced. They're looking at Daniel Jones may have been his last start as a Giant.
That should have happened.
Bo Nix is quarterback number 9 and Mahomes is 13. Like, what in the world is happening at the quarterback position?
Yeah, it's wild. It just goes to show you that real life production doesn't necessarily translate into fantasy production, vice versa, right?
Well,
like we've done that all along, but
the example I've been hearing a lot is, Tom Brady, good as he was in real life, was never really a fantasy stud.
Correct. Yeah, I agree with that. The
only guys really consistently scoring points at the quarterback position this year are your runners. Pocket passers just ain't putting up the points this year.
Yeah, it's true. And what's crazy though is the league is moving more and more toward those guys, right? So there's more and more of them. They're putting up those points. Unfortunately, almost every team in a league has one now, so it kind of kills the trading at the quarterback position because there's so many startable quarterbacks until they start dropping from injury. But last year seems to be the quarterback injury year. This year seems to be the wide receiver injury year. So it's kind of weird how it's going position by position there. But last year was rough for quarterbacks. This year, they, for the most part, stayed pretty healthy until Dak Prescott pulls a hammy or something.
Well, what's funny is you got all these guys that are running and scoring points, and then you got all these guys that don't run, and then you got Dak Prescott who rips the hammy off the bone when he wasn't running.
Throwing the ball and
it's literally in a drop back and just right off the bone. It's like, brother.
Idiotic. That kind of just sums up the Dallas Cowboys season.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it puts a nice little bow on top. It's rough.
Top 5 pick, here we come.
All right, let's start playing the trumpet, and I'll just. All right. Anywho, they're done.
Start playing taps, and we'll just
play taps, and I'll turn off the light there. All right, let's get over here to the chat really quick. So Daco, something like that. Doesn't have to wait for us too long here. So I traded Hurts, St. Brown, and Harris for HN, Jones, Debo, 8-man PPR. He has Burrow on the team. Okay. I have love for Burrow's bye week. Oh, yeah, okay. See, that's crazy. 8-man league there. So we traded Hurts, St. Brown, and Harris for HN, Aaron Jones, and Debo. So you must have just needed running back help.
Yeah, he didn't need Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
So getting rid of him is fine. I think HN's an improvement over Harris. And getting Debo and Aaron Jones for St. Brown to me is pretty good. Like, yeah, he's been scoring some points. Not like you'd hope, St. Brown, since apparently they're a completely run-first offense now.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that. I love St. Brown. I do. But at some point, you got to look at the production versus what you can get for him.
Agree.
I think that's a pretty good sell there.
Yep. Alrighty. We're just going to move on to the next one because that dude bailed because he couldn't wait 30 seconds for us to get to it. So we'll go over here to Massachusetts Football Guy. Would you please remind Brian to find me on okay. Now for football. I don't know how much Brian's actually on Discord. I think he would just kind of be a night. We do kind of live on the Fantasy Sports Advice Network. That's kind of where we live. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure he's actually going to hit you up on Discord, really. So we'll see. But Kupp, Mike Williams, Dell, Bateman, Moore, and BK, and he also has Dobbs. So he's got a lot of guys there. Need 3. So he needs 3 out of this group plus Dobbs.
Who's BK? Am I missing something?
I'm not sure who BK is.
He's got the Burger King on his roster.
Yeah, so I'm not sure about BK.
Maybe it's supposed to be DK?
Maybe. I'm not sure. So he needs 3 here. I mean, Kupp's a definite.
So's Dell for me.
Yeah, Diggs is out, and so yeah, I think you're starting Dell there.
Even with
there's
they're playing Dallas, even with
that's true.
Diggs, or if Nico comes back, it doesn't matter. I'm starting Dell this week.
Yeah.
Play Dallas on Monday night, too, no less.
Yeah, what are you thinking here, Tony?
Yeah. I think Kupp and Dell for sure. I'm trying to figure who BK is. That
That's
BK or DK?
Trying to figure out, if that's DK.
Massachusetts football guy, let us know here, man. Let us know
who's BK. Help us out.
Yeah, we'll come back to that one really quick. Albert in the house, what's up, man? And Frizzil, what's up, man? Got Otten and Murray on bye. Yep. Do I go with Ferg or just Gasecki? I don't even know how we say that, but so you going Ferg or Gasecki on this?
I don't know that I want Gesicki against that Charger defense. I'm probably going to roll the dice with Ferguson, especially kind of as a dump off type play. At tight end, Houston has been somewhat susceptible to tight ends, so I'm going to lean Ferguson over Gesicki. And what was the other one?
Kyle, what are you saying on that, real quick?
I'm with Tony on that one. Go with Ferguson.
Yep, I'm the same way. Alrighty. Second half of that is, are you going Murray or Winston?
Murray's on a bye.
Yeah, you just said Murray on a bye.
Or is that the whole point? Is it a joke? It might be a joke.
Yeah, that might be a joke. Yeah, you going Murray on a bye or Winston?
Winston's playing New Orleans. Even if Murray wasn't on a bye, I like that matchup.
Winston is, yeah. I'm going with that. Yeah, but maybe there's a correction to be made there. Let us know, Frizzil. Alrighty. Let's see. 10-man PPR by Freezy Fantasy. Trade Brock Purdy for Najee and Jordan Addison. Hurts is the starter.
Yeah, I'd do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, if you got Hurts already, then I think that's good return on that for sure.
BK's the typo. Meant to say Dalbs on Football Guy.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, now that we have that cleared up,
how did you get BK out of Dalbs?
I don't know. Okay, let's see. So you got Kupp, Mike Williams, Dell, Bateman, Moore. I'm guessing that's DJ Moore and Dobbs.
Is that DJ Moore?
I'm guessing. You think it's David Moore? If it's David Moore, definitely not anyways, out of the question.
Could be Elijah Moore.
Oh, could be Elijah Moore. Yeah, didn't think about that. We're going to need more info on that one too. Unless you wouldn't start him anyways over like Bateman.
Who's Baltimore play?
What are you thinking, Tony?
I don't think I'd start Bateman against Pitt.
What's that?
I'm not sure I'd start Bateman against Pitt. I don't hate Mike Williams against Baltimore, though.
That's probably where I'm leaning, just because Baltimore has been so strong against the run, very susceptible to the pass. You saw him get that late touchdown catch on Sunday. I think I'm leaning Mike Williams in that lineup once we get Dell and I forget who else was this we pegged as a starter.
Yeah, Kupp, Dell, and
Kupp. Yeah.
I like Mike Williams as kind of a because like Kupp and Dell are going to be pretty safe plays. Oh, it is Elijah Moore, he said.
Okay. I'm still going Mike Williams here.
But Mike Williams is kind of that high ceiling boomer bust type of play you can stick in there this week. I like it.
Well, Mike Williams kind of that downfield pass, right? And what did we just see Jamar Chase get done against them? I mean, ridiculous. Exactly. They didn't cover that deep. And I know Mike Williams is not Jamar Chase, but it's still, I mean, over the top.
Jamar Chase isn't the only receiver that's burned the Ravens.
No. So you're right. It's going to be kind of a boom or bust, but the odds of a boom here are kind of high. I like them. I mean, I think you're going there. And like you said, Kupp and Dell are kind of your safer plays there. So you should probably take that chance, would be my guess.
One guy I'm definitely not playing on that list, though, is Doubs. Chicago's secondary is elite, one of the best in the league. They're playing in Chicago. I don't trust anyone in that passing game this weekend.
Facts.
Yep. He says slip of the fingers, guys. I tell my wife that all the time. Anyways, I'm just kidding. That's bad. All right, that was a really bad joke. Sorry, YouTube.
What podcast is this?
Not bad as in naughty either. It was just bad.
Yeah, that was just bad. All right. This one is Murray or Winston. He came back and it's May or Winston. So now we're looking at May or Winston. So that's not bad there.
I think I'm gonna stick with Winston there.
What you think, Tony? Professor.
May has actually surprised quite a bit, and I'm in this matchup against the Rams. Rams can be had at the quarterback position. So Winston was quite a disappointment his last start.
Okay, but this is his revenge game against New Orleans.
I might give the nod to May in this case.
I think I'm actually going May here too. I do like Winston. Now, here's the thing. Winston can make the receivers and stuff relevant. Don't get me wrong. Like, they're still going to get theirs and everything in that matchup, but I don't know if it adds up to Winston fantasy points. And May has been playing quite well in a better matchup too, I feel like. So I'm going May here. And there's some rushing potential there, I feel like. So
did he say so? Does this guy also have Murray? He has Murray on a bye?
Yes. Yeah, on a bye.
Okay. I was going to say, I don't know what you're doing at the quarterback position when you're choosing between Drake May and Jameis Winston.
Yeah, your life is rough right now. If those are your guys.
Unless you drafted Anthony Richardson to be your starter.
That's rough.
Or Trevor Lawrence or, somebody like that.
That's true. All right, guys, here's an interesting one. And I actually thought about this question this week myself. What do you guys think about Thielen moving forward?
Man. That's it.
And do you mean
analysis?
Well, and I'm guessing he means this season, of course. So we'll go with that. But they're saying that he could return to his number one role when he gets back here. Bryce Young back at quarterback for them right now. We saw what he did last year with Bryce Young. That was his little safety blanket. Is Adam Thielen going to be that guy when he comes back again? No?
I don't trust it.
Are you trusting Thielen? I mean, I think Thielen really had the connection more with Dalton than with Young. Young seems to be developing a little bit of chemistry with Leggett. So I don't know that I'm taking Thielen. Plus,
don't forget about Coker. They've been building some chemistry too. I really don't think Thielen makes a big impact.
Thielen.
Cool. Yep, I'm not really in on him either. With Leggett and Coker being there, you got to think he's been out so long. There's really no chemistry there, so I'm not leaning into that right now. It's too dangerous this late in the season when we're 4 weeks away from the playoffs, and so when you're trying to get those playoff spots, I'm not trusting Adam Thielen. Now, are you picking him up, are you getting him on waivers as a defensive move, or are you letting someone else just make that mistake? Because what if he does come back and show something? You got any?
The only reason he did something last year is because he was the only receiver on that team worth a dang.
100%.
I honestly think there's better receivers there now, and that's who he'll continue to throw to. I'm not spending any fab on him. I'm not wasting a roster spot on him.
Yeah.
Even if I can get him for free, I'm not doing it.
Those are the right answers, guys. Those are the right answers. Alrighty. The Frogs ribbit. Available waiver running backs are Chubb. I don't even know how to say his name. Estime.
I thought it was Estime.
Estime is probably right.
I heard Tony say Estime one time, and I've been doubting myself ever since. So I really don't know the truth.
All right. It's time to move on. So
my life is a lie.
All right. So Chubb, Estime, sure. Spears, Etienne. I've been stashing Allen and Ray Davis all season. Are any of these waiver running backs worth dropping these guys for?
I'd probably drop both for Chubb and Etienne.
kind of what I was thinking. I don't like. Yes, ETN is not old ETN right now, but like he's still ETN, right? He's still producing points and he's still a starter. So why would I want those backups, pure handcuffs, sitting on my bench with ETN sitting out there? And Chubb too. Chubb's their starter, so
Yeah, for a couple of pure backups. Like,
yeah,
Ray Davis had some points. What was it week 9 or something? But it was a fluke. He was right back to 3 touches this week.
yeah. Everything I've
Yeah,
seen.
I like Estime also. I think he clearly has taken over as the lead back. Javonte Williams has seen a steady decrease in his usage. Sean Payton clearly prefers the rookie, so I really
he didn't catch.
What's that?
He didn't catch any passes though either.
He didn't. He did run a handful of routes, so I think that kind of the jury is still out on whether or not he's going to be involved or what his role is going to be in that passing game. But my point simply is that I would prefer to have him over the 2 guys that he's stashing there.
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah.
Any combination of those 3 guys we just listed would be better than the 2 you're holding.
I'm just not trusting what that looks like in that Broncos backfield because it was 3-4 weeks ago against New Orleans that Javonte Williams went off and everyone's like, oh, he's back, baby. Okay, Javonte Williams is the guy. And now he's getting, 1 carry in a game. Like, it's just too much.
Let me ask you this then, Corey. Do you trust the ETN-Bigsby dichotomy more?
It's better 2 than 3, and I think we kind of know what that looks like. It's a pretty –
McLaurin's not even – I wouldn't consider him part of it really anymore as far as that goes. But
I think it depends on the game.
It depends. Any of those 3 is better than the 2 he's holding, though.
I mean, I'm looking at the carry counts for all 3 of them for the last, 6 games, and they're just it just changes. It depends per game basis. It's like a hot hand situation. It's like which one's going to get the carries that week. That's all it is.
Well, they made a point to come out and say last week that Estime was going to get more chances going forward, and this week he was a clear starter. That feels different to me than what they've been doing in previous weeks.
It's just weird to go 5-1, 5-14, and Williams to go 14-17, 12-1. Like, it's just weird.
They made change, yeah.
And McLaurin's kind of been in there. I mean, 4-8, 5-2. So he's kind of just in that middle. Obviously, just kind of a change of pace. He's not really in there, but it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's something I'm not wanting to play with right now when I've got Chubb and ETN right there. I think I trust both of their workloads more than I trust Estime right now.
I agree with you. I would rather have those 2, but I'm just saying the Estime move feels more like a lineup change than just hot hand of the committee this week.
Yeah.
Based on what the coaches were saying.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Coaches say a lot of things, so that makes me.
One quick thing, just if I could throw it out there. With this injury to Trevor Lawrence, I know it's a non-throwing shoulder, but it looks to be severe AC joint sprain. There's a chance that he could get shut down rest of the season. There's no better friend than a number 2 quarterback coming off the bench like Mac Jones and a strong running game. Bigsby is banged up, and I know ETN hasn't necessarily been completely healthy this season, but he's the healthiest of the backs there. Bigsby dealing with an ankle injury. ETN is a proven talent. He's got, they do have a bye week next week, but he does have a pretty decent schedule. I really like the fact that he's got Vegas in week 16. And so just for that alone, I want him on my roster. But I do think that he probably gives the greatest upside rest of season over both Chubb and Estime, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's going to be dump off city from Mac Jones, right? So
dump off city. All right, let's see. May's been a stud. Absolutely been doing much better than I expected him to do. All right. Frizzell says, speaking of rough, I'm in a 14-man. Love that. And with bye weeks, my only options of flex this week is either Pop Douglas or Audric Estime. Well, there you go.
One breaking down Estime. He's
Yeah,
playing
so
Atlanta. Like, I'd probably lean that way, if I'm being honest.
I don't hate that. What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, I would probably lean the same way. I'm looking more for the guaranteed touches.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as good as May has been, none of his receivers have been consistent.
It has
He's
been tough.
spreading the ball around. So, yeah, go with the guarantee. He's going to get 10 to 12 runs guaranteed this week at minimum.
Yeah, and I think they could use Stevenson quite a bit in that game too. So, yeah, I'm going with Audric Estime, or however you say his name. All right, let's see. Eli the Reaper, pick up Dolphins D this week. I have Steelers, but I don't know about the matchup. That matchup is tougher, for sure.
I don't hate the matchup for the Dolphins, though.
I know. Las Vegas is such a good matchup.
Your Raiders are horrible, Tony.
Yeah, they're really horrible.
They're really bad.
I think if you have the roster spot, then yeah, I think I'm streaming the Dolphins over the Steelers if you can afford it with your roster spots.
They should just make Dallas and Vegas play each other for the number 1 overall pick already.
Hey, there you go. I wish, yeah.
Vegas has been the third best opponent to have for opposing defenses, while Baltimore has been the worst matchup for opposing defenses. So there's a clear dichotomy there between both Vegas and the Ravens. I think just on matchups alone, you almost have to play Miami.
So if Vegas is the third, who are the first two?
One of them's probably
Minnesota and New Orleans have been the best matchups for opposing defenses.
See, that's weird.
Minnesota? Really?
Yeah, Minnesota has been. And New Orleans started off hot, and they turned into this hot mess, is what they've turned into. Crazy stuff.
I figured Carolina would have been in that top 3.
Well, it's not just points. It's also based on turnovers, sacks.
Carolina and the Giants, I would expect to be pretty high.
Yeah.
They probably round out the top 5.
Jacksonville. Yeah. All righty, moving on along here. So Eli, do Dolphins D. If you have the roster spot, pick them up and play them over the Steelers D for sure. Let's see, Tony. Hey, Tony, get out of here. No, I'm just kidding. I have Laporta and Evans as my tight ends. Njoku is available on the waivers. Or any worth dropping for Njoku? Am I crazy? Evans?
Who's Evans?
I don't know who Evans is, but I'm going to guess it's a typo, but I don't know.
Probably meant Engram and just auto typed in.
Evan Engram?
Maybe Evan Engram. Yeah, that's going to be my guess there. Tony, if you can type that in there, tell us who. Njoku's on your waivers.
Yeah, he meant
is kind of wild.
He said he meant Engram. Honestly,
okay, Engram.
Like if I'm thinking about the targets Laporta's had this year and Engram losing Lawrence, Njoku's probably your best shot over both of these for the rest of the season, if I'm being honest. But I still don't know if you could drop one of them.
Yeah, I don't know that I could drop either one of them. That's tough, man.
Tough.
And Laporta's...
Try to find another guy to drop. Just pick up a third tight end. So
are you not? I mean, I guess waivers hit tomorrow morning, right? Because I'm looking maybe to make a trade. You know, you got 2 tight ends. You think you got a shot at Njoku.
Yeah.
Maybe you can move one of those guys and
you got about 5 hours.
Upgrade. What's that?
You got about 5 hours before waivers run in most.
Yeah.
Now let's assume that he can't do that, and let's say like he has to. We want him to get Njoku. Is dropping Engram for Njoku a good move? Would you take Njoku?
I would not. I wouldn't. I think
I'd probably drop Laporta before I dropped Engram, but I don't think I'd drop either one.
Engram is the number one receiver. I know we got Brian Thomas, but Engram really is the number one receiver on that roster. And Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, the same, just really locked in on Engram this past week. He led the team in targets. He had 8 targets this past week. The next guy was Gabe Davis at 4, Brian Thomas at 3. So, Evan Engram is going to be a target monster, and that's the way this offense is built in Jacksonville. Really does in the pass game, really does run through Engram. He's also a red zone target. I like Njoku an awful lot, but I don't know that I'm ready to dump Engram in place of Njoku.
I would agree.
Try to find somebody else you can drop to pick him up besides those 2 tight ends.
Yeah.
unless you're like limited.
I agree with that.
Tight ends you can carry, which happens. Sometimes you get these forced rosters, the roster limits where you can only carry 2. If that's the case, I would consider dropping Laporta for Njoku personally.
That's crazy. Isn't that crazy?
It's wild, yes, but
it's crazy to say out loud, yeah.
He's just not getting the targets this year. Njoku has just been better.
Yeah, I think I agree with what Kyle said. I think if I can figure out a way to roster those 3, and then on the other side of waivers, even if you can't make a trade tonight, you've got 3 guys really that you can move. You can move one of those guys and be comfortable with what you're left. Yep. So tight ends really kind of our premium. It's been a hodgepodge this year.
Yeah,
you got those 3 guys. There's got to be a guy in your league who's needy at the tight end position.
Yep.
Which is another reason why it's shocking Njoku's on waivers.
That is wild. I agree. All right, Massachusetts, like I said, just hopped on Fantasy Advice Network. Love it. Appreciate you helping us out there. Guys, if anyone's wondering what that is a social media network 100% dedicated to fantasy sports where you can come hang out and talk ball with us and other fantasy sports enthusiasts all the time. There's none of that other BS politics. There's no pictures of people's dinner that they cooked or their CrossFit workouts or whatever stupid things their kids are doing that you don't care about. You can come hang out and just talk ball. I'm going to play a short video for you real quick so you can learn more about it.
We are here. FantasySportsAdvice.com, offering the best fantasy sports social media platform. Why join endless Discord communities or the trolls of Reddit? Fantasy Sports Advice is a community designed to help you win with 24/7 support. Go to FantasySportsAdvice.com and become a pro member for unlimited access. Again, go to FantasySportsAdvice.com today.
You'll join us over there, dude. Come hang out and download the mobile app, and then you can, ask questions, answer questions, join groups, whatever you want. It's just a full-on social media network. Plus, there's content like our videos, there's articles from multiple creators and everything. So you'll see you over there, guys.
I'm also considering posting weekly glamour shots of Tony.
There you go. Yeah. Well. I love it. All righty. Let's see. Dominic wants to know, Pittman, worth an ad?
No, not in a way. I don't want him on my roster.
I'm over him at this point. 2 weeks, just 2 weeks ago, people were asking me about him, and I was like, "Yeah, pick him up." Yeah, but now I'm over it. Joe Flacco
isn't that wild? Like, we were so high on Pittman. Everyone was so high on Pittman coming into the season, and then just screw it, drop him to waivers. Over it. That's nuts.
He's still a hold in Dynasty because you're not going to get anything for him if you trade him.
Of course. Well, he's still a good athlete. I mean,
but in redraft, I'm done with him for this year.
It's rough.
He's only had 2 games this year with over 40 yards receiving.
Ugh.
Yeah, they need a quarterback that can throw the ball.
It's
Flacco,
really
between Cleveland and Indianapolis, Flacco aged in there somewhere, and he's not getting it done anymore either.
Yeah, it's rough.
Well, just 2 other things to factor in. He's dealing with an injury, and then he's got coming off the bye week in Week 14. He faces Denver and Tennessee, which are 2 top 5 teams against the receiver position.
Yeah. It's rough, man.
I mean, under no circumstances am I rostering Pittman.
Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it. Now here's one. QBs are Goff and Stroud. Should I add Herbert to the group for the rest of the season?
Nah, you're fine.
I'm not into Herbert. So we're just shutting down everything for you, Dominic. Sorry. Nothing fun there. Traded DJ Moore and Rhamondre Stevenson. Still got Walker, Kyron. Oh, DJ Moore for Stevenson. Still got Walker.
He got DJ Moore? So
he traded DJ Moore and got Stevenson back.
Well, that's what I was.
The way he said still got these running backs makes me think he did it the other way around and said it backwards.
Gotcha.
I mean, Juan Pena Jr., maybe he's used to Spanish.
No, he got Steven.
Said it the other way around.
He got Stevenson because at the end he says, "Do I trade Stevenson for a receiver?"
Oh, okay.
So he traded DJ Moore for him. Now he's wondering if he needs a receiver again.
Jefferson, Mooney.
I mean,
that's ET on my bench to trade Stevenson. I mean,
who's your tight end? Maybe you should be targeting a tight end.
Are you in the other guys' league that dropped Njoku so that you could have?
I mean, I like
Stevenson. Trade ETN away and hang on to Stevenson for some depth.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like Stevenson over ETN for sure.
You could put ETN with either Myers, Downs, or Mooney and get a stud receiver. Or put Stevenson with him. I don't care, but with one of those receivers, you can get like a top 10 guy with that.
Tony, what do you think?
That's probably more the route that I would go, because what I was going to say is, what receiver do you think you're going to get for Stevenson? For Stevenson, you're probably looking at like a Calvin Ridley, maybe something like that, which might not necessarily be a bad swap based on what we've seen of Ridley these past couple of weeks. But I like Kyle's angle better, which is to, maybe take Stevenson, package him with Mooney, and get a significant upgrade. Maybe. I don't know if you've got enough juice there to get an AJ Brown type guy, but if you can get up and get even a McLaurin or a Puka, somebody like that, I would definitely be looking to make that type of a deal.
Nico Collins, who's about to come back.
Yeah,
I low on CeeDee Lamb, dude. Everybody's panic on CeeDee Lamb right now.
Well, do you think Devontae Smith is aiming high enough?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think you should be able to get that.
You might be able to do. I think you could do Stevenson straight for Devonta Smith.
Yeah, I think you should be able to pull that off.
Yeah. I mean, if you could do that, that's fine.
Because Stevenson, man, I like Stevenson going forward for sure. I think this is really funny, so I'm just gonna highlight. He said he meant Engram, and then he gave us another typo. So that was just funny. I had to point that out because it was really good. All right, let's see over here. Got offered Debo and Waddle for Walker. Should I counter offer with Stevenson for Debo straight up? Trey,
if you really need a receiver, that's fine. But
I would be trying to trade ETN, dude.
Just don't trade Walker, especially for those guys.
I'd be trying to trade ETN.
But I'd rather trade ETN for Debo. Stevenson for Debo is not bad, though.
What's with? I mean, what's wrong with Debo? And are you down on Debo? What's up with that?
Yeah, with CMC back, I'm a little down on Debo.
For Stevenson,
what was it again?
Debo,
I would trade Stevenson for Debo. I'm not as down on Debo. I think Debo rest of season as a guy. If I can get on my roster, I want him. So, I'm see if you could do Stevenson. I would do Stevenson for Debo straight up. I would do that.
Yeah, I mean,
what it really does want to is it simplifies your roster, because each week, you're starting. Who are his two guys? He's got Jefferson, right? He's got Jettas. Yeah. So your Jettas and Debo are your two starters every week. I don't know if you have a flex.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's got Kyron, Walker, Brees, and so
yeah. I mean, you're starting Kyron and Brees.
I mean, I would first try to do like a ETN and Mooney for Debo. I would rather do that and get rid of 2 of those guys, keep Stevenson personally. But
ultimately, Tony's right. That's a fine deal to get a number 2.
yeah,
Debo as a number 2 is fantastic.
100%.
I just would not crack that top 3 running backs you've got.
I just think the issue here is Kyron and Brees those are your weekly starters.
Yes.
Yeah, and you've got Walker.
Under no circumstances are you playing Walker or ETN over one of those 2 running backs.
No, you're playing Walker as your flex. Then you've got JJ as one receiver. Now Debo's your second if you trade Stevenson.
Yeah.
Don't crack those top 3 though, because then you've got a stud running back in your flex every week.
Yeah, agreed. All righty, I think we finally figured that one out. Whew. All right, it's Beats 101. Redraft full PPR. You can see the roster there. 1 flex and 1 off player, but I'm 4 and 6. Yep. What moves do we think you can make? Woo. Bench is Waddle and some other random waiver pickups. So nothing special there. Daniels I like. Saquon, CMC. Oh, you just got CMC.
Now that Hawk's healthy, I'd try to upgrade him. I don't think he's going to be last year's Hawk this year. I think he's going to struggle all year. I would try to get a better tight end, honestly.
Sell high after that 1 game back. Good performance.
Like your QB, like your running backs. Your receivers are good, too. That tight end is where I would do Waddle and Hawk and go try to get, I don't know, like the Joku.
We had Waddle.
He's sneaking there and get a Kittle or something like that. Didn't he say Waddle and some guys on the bench?
Yeah. Waddle and other random guys off of waivers. So, yeah. What do we think about Adams, Tony? What do you think about Adams? You a believer in the stretch?
No, I think that's where I'm making my move. I'm trying to move Adams. I'm going to
based off of name.
What's that?
I think based off of name alone, you can try to upgrade that. I mean, you could probably go Adams and Waddle and upgrade there.
Where's Waddle? I didn't see Waddle.
Is the next message?
It's on the next message. I was just telling you. Bench is Waddle and some other random waiver guys.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I didn't see Waddle. Okay, I understand now.
Yeah. So he has Waddle on there too. So, I'm not huge into Adams.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Adams guy either.
So I'm
moving. If I can do Adams and Hawkinson and get someone like Kelsey, something like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm looking to make a move.
Gosh, if you could get Kelsey there, that'd be great. And Hawkinson, like I said, he's been back 1 game, all that build up. He had a good outing. So now, sell.
I think with the name recognition you get out of an Adams and even Hawkinson now, I think you can aim for McBride or Bowers with that. Go for the one of the top tight ends, man.
Yep.
I'm good with that too.
All righty. Here's one. Potato Juice says, I gave CD for Mike Evans and Pacheco. Did I win? So first of all, winning a trade is pretty subjective. I mean, it depends on what your overall rosters look like, because especially this time of year, sometimes you're just overpaying on purpose for players, right? Because you're trying to tighten up that roster, less decisions, trying to upgrade. So winning a trade this time of year, kind of who cares, right?
But he overpaid for 2 hurt guys.
Yeah, I was going to say, there's two guys. If you're hurting to get to the playoffs right now, I don't know that I would have made that move because you're just waiting on these guys to come back.
This is like, I swear I'm gonna make a fantasy rule book or something. It's just gonna be a couple of pages long, and I'm gonna have
a couple of pages in 32-point font.
Yeah. Potato juice. You're killing me with this. Just a general rule in fantasy: never trade for injured players.
Hey,
you're especially don't sell one of the best receivers in the NFL for
CeeDee Lamb for Evans, who is slated to come back week 12, and Pacheco, who I'm not sure is when he's going to come back. It typically never ends well when you're trading for an injured player, expecting them to return and be, what you want them to be.
Professor, What's a player's greatest ability?
That's fantasy golden rule number 1. The greatest ability is availability.
That's
And
right. Availability.
If you don't have availability, you ain't no good on my roster. So
Man.
to trade for players that are injured. I mean, who even knows what Mike Evans is going to look like and how quickly he'll be able to regain his form. It might not be for another 3 or 4 weeks. It's a gamble when you do that.
Big
It
gamble.
is like it's bad enough when you trade for someone and then they get hurt, but like when they're already hurt when you acquire them, are you just trying to avoid the heartbreak and just like rip the Band-Aid off? I don't know.
Well, I can see it as it can be easily construed as a buy low situation, right? Like, go on buying low, but it's like oof,
Very low. Buying
that's very low. And
Um,
it's risky. It can cost you games and it can cost you a playoff spot. It's risky.
And I'm not buying low with CD Lamb. I don't care who his quarterback is.
Yeah.
For me, this is a great buying window for CD.
Mhm.
I'm looking to buy CD right now if I can, because I know a lot of owners are panicked. Maybe Potato Head is panicked on him. I don't know.
Congratulations.
Well,
you're a potato. No, like
that was a Potato Head move. Check back with us in 3 weeks. Let's see how that trade went.
Hey, Professor, what's kind of funny is you look a little bit like a potato head. You got the bald head, you got the mustache and smile going. You got a potato head look going. I like it.
That's okay. That's okay. I can take it.
Potato juice, if I had to give you one piece of advice, it would be next time you're thinking about doing a trade, hit up the Fantasy Football Advice Network and just see what people think about it.
There you go. There you go. FantasyFootballAdvice.network. Alrighty, let's see. I have Tua, Stafford, and Goff as my QBs. Would you drop one of them for Njoku?
Tua. Deuces.
Yeah, I wouldn't hold on to Tua.
He's one hit away from weekend at Bernie's. Yeah, I'd drop him for.
I thought he was already weekend at Bernie's. I don't know how they haven't gotten 12 and 13 man on the field penalties, them carrying him around out there. They just play the music really loud over the stereo system.
They've got him tied together with duct tape and popsicle sticks out there, just like.
Tua has never Tua is kind of one of those two. Like, doesn't produce high in fantasy. Like, they may win games, his wide receivers may have big, and maybe it's because he doesn't play a lot. Maybe that's it. But to me, he just doesn't seem to be a great fantasy quarterback.
I'm okay.
Especially
I'm not as down on Tua. Although, did you see the tackle he made on Monday night?
I didn't, but I heard about it.
No, didn't see that.
He threw a pick, and then he, of course, threw his body into the.
I'm sure Mike McDaniel's butthole puckered right out.
He got kneed in the head. He got evaluated for concussion after he tackled or was in on the tackle. I'm probably, if out of those three guys, the guy that I'm probably most down on is Stafford, just because of his schedule. He does not have a positive matchup rest of season. And then in the playoffs, he's got San Francisco. He's at San Fran and at the Jets in weeks 15, 16. So he doesn't really have many good matchups between now and the end of the season. Every matchup is a negative matchup for him.
That's true.
So I probably, out of those three guys, he's the one I would be the most down on. I think Tua gives you some good upside if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just looking back through his history, and I'm not seeing much that impresses me through the past years, even of his scoring. He's only finished a QB one time in his career. I'm just saying overall, Tua has.
The tiebreaker for me is the injury risk. Honestly, like Tua, Stafford, they're just the same when it comes to scoring.
Yeah.
But like for me,
I don't agree. But Stafford's been healthy all season. He's right now a quarterback 23.
But the key there is he's been healthy and available all season.
Well, but he has been pretty horrible fantasy-wise. He's only had one.
I agree. But
yeah, and going back to Tony's negative matchups the rest of the season, like, yeah, I mean, Tua's fine. I'm just either one's
not your starter.
One's
Goff's your starter.
Njoku.
Goff's your starter regardless. So
yeah,
flip a coin. Yeah, either one's better. Njoku's better than either one of those guys, honestly.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
He's going to outscore either of them. Jorge, what's up, man? Welcome back. Should I pick up Disley or Knox to sub for Autumn?
Probably Knox. It's looking like Kincaid's banged up and might even miss.
Thoughts, Tony?
Sure.
Yeah, I think
it's a coin. I mean, it's a why not? But I mean, it's just a coin flip at this point. I mean, it's
What I hate about this week is I have like Auten and McBride in so many places. I'm gonna have to pick up backup tight ends everywhere this week, or Kincaid. Like those are Auten, McBride, Kincaid. Those are the three guys I have in almost pretty much every league, and all of them might not be available this week. It's tight end waivers for Kyle this week.
Yeah. How's KC against tight ends? I mean, we kind of just saw how
their only weakness, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what I was thinking. Is that's kind of their only weakness there, right?
Yep.
But we just saw how Cincinnati let Mark Andrews do against them. I mean, he did pretty well. So Disley, kind of the same situation there.
Yeah, I think if I'm picking between the two, I'm leading on Disley. Cincinnati definitely is more susceptible to tight ends. You've got Herbert, and according to Harbaugh, he's playing at MVP level, and he did lead the team this past week in targets. So I wouldn't try. I don't know. You can trust Knox in your lineup, even if Kincaid doesn't play.
Even with Kincaid out and Coleman out, right?
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I've never been much into Dawson Knox. I know he had that one blow up, and then he's just kind of whatever. So I actually think I'm going Disley here too, just because Mark Andrews had a decent game against Cincinnati, and so I'm just kind of riding that. That's the best explanation I can have for that choice right now.
Well, you're both entitled to your wrong opinions.
Yep, that dang right I am. All right. Let's see. Jorge says, just got offered St. Brown for Kamara. 10-0, 12 people league. I have Henry, Walker, Hubbard. My receivers are Lamb, Reed, DJ Bum, and Cooper. Okay. So you've got Lamb, Reed. You're still going to have Henry, Walker, and Hubbard. What do you think, man? That's actually pretty tough.
That is tough.
I'm taking St. Brown.
That's where I'm leaning. And here's the thing. What changes that and makes me lean that way now is Hubbard's new contract. I would say before this last week, I'd be like, oh, yeah, hell yeah, like Hubbard's not going to be as great with Brooks coming. And Hubbard apparently is just going to be the guy there. So who knows? But that's helping me make that decision right now, too. And if you're starting Henry, Walker to Hubbard, and then Reed is pretty inconsistent. DJ is a bum. Cooper isn't even playing. And when he does, is he going to be effective? I'm strengthening that wide receiver room.
Yeah.
I knew Kyle would lean that way. He loves wide receivers.
And St. Brown specifically, I do love him.
That's also true. Yeah, you're a big fan. So I think we're all leaning that way of you take St. Brown.
It's all about simplifying your roster. I think you don't have to try and figure out who your other starting receiver is going to be opposite Lamb. I think and plus if you are concerned with the injury to Dak, St. Brown is clearly your number one now, and Lamb is your number two. I will take that any day of the week. 100%. And you've got depth there at running back, so you can afford to move Kamara. Here's what I can also add: it's a very, very fair swap.
Yes,
like it's value wise. Nobody is getting the better of that deal. It's just, I think it just makes sense for your roster to do something like that, because that's where you're really weak, is that receiver.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
That's why you're the professor.
That's right. Brandon says, "What's up, Phil? Good show so far. Appreciate you dropping in, Brandon. Appreciate the compliment." All righty, guys. And if you're on here and you have not liked this video, please do so. If you haven't subbed to our channel, please do so. Much appreciated. It's free. It's simple. It's a couple easy clicks, but it goes a long way. If you feel like putting a little bit more extra effort on top of that, you can go to fantasysportsadvice.network, and you can join our social media network, 100% dedicated to fantasy sports. And we're on there answering questions all the time. You'll see it down there in a little ticker below the professor there. FantasySportsAdvice.com will also get you there. We have a bunch of URLs to get you to the same place, guys. Just go check it out. Come sign up for the social media network. Hang out with us. Ask questions. Help other people. And try to win your leagues. Alrighty, let's see. Got offered Henry and CD for McLaurin and CMC.
That's tough, but
That's tough.
After seeing CMC in action this weekend, I'm doing CMC and McLaurin here. Now, if you'd asked me a week ago, I'd have said Henry and CD in a heartbeat. But CMC looks healthy, and I didn't expect him to look that healthy and get that kind of workload out of the gate. So he won me over. He did.
Tony, what are your thoughts here?
I'm confused. What side are you taking here?
He would be taking Henry and CD. Well, who cares? Which side of this do you want? Do you want McLaurin and CMC, or do you want Henry and CMC?
I'm all over McLaurin and CMC.
Yep.
I want the McLaurin and CMC side of that.
Yep, I agree.
A lot changes in a week, you know? It really does.
Well, I'm looking at multiple things here.
Here's the way I look at it personally. I think, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, Henry still has a bye coming up.
He does, but so does McLaurin. That's one of the things I was looking up.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, so then that's a swap bye-wise. They're both on bye week 14. What I was going to say is between Henry and CMC, that could almost be a wash. Although I might lean CMC in that offense. But I'd rather at this stage, even though I think it's a buy low on CD, I think I'd rather have McLaurin over him rest of the season.
I would agree with that. Also, not that it really, really matters because it is Derrick Henry in that offense, but he does have a tough run again. Like the rest of his season's not super easy. The only easy matchup I would say he has is the New York Giants week 15, but he doesn't have great matchups, including he plays week 11, he plays Pitt, and he plays them again in week 16. So he has some tough matchups in here. So I'm leaning McLaurin CMC here.
Henry and CMC are probably two of the only like matchup proof running backs left in the league, though.
Yeah.
They're probably two of the only guys in the league I'm not worried about their schedules, and CMC just looked his old self again Sunday, and that's dangerous.
I mean, in that kind of trade, you're kind of splitting hairs, right? And trying to justify one side or another. So, like, when you kind of get that, it's like, well, their schedule's hard, but it is Derrick Henry, right? But if you're kind of splitting hairs, which Tony doesn't know anything about, then
well, you're right though, because when you're looking even at Lamb and McLaurin, they've both been performing at a very high level this year, and one just lost his QB and the other one hadn't.
Yeah.
And so that's the hair I'm splitting.
Yep. No, I agree. On wide receivers, the tiebreaker a lot of time is just who has the better quarterback, you know, and that offense is much more efficient. They're in more scoring opportunities. Yeah. Yep. I'm liking McLaurin over CD. So, all righty.
One of the things I also like to look at, especially this time in the season, is just kind of looking ahead. I agree with you, Corey. I lean towards kind of the case you made, which is the schedule. And at Pitt, at Chargers, Philly, bye. That's the next four for Derrick Henry. And I know what Kyle's saying as far as going to be matchup proof, but I'm not crazy about that schedule. He also has in week 16 and 17 Pitt at Houston, which again not favorable matchups. Where CMC on the other hand has some nice games on the table, and for the fantasy playoffs 15, 16, 17, you're looking at the Rams, the Dolphins, and Detroit. That could be the high scoring game of the week, and CMC is going to be heavily involved in that passing game as well, especially with the loss of Ayuk. So I personally would probably prefer CMC over Henry and McLaurin over CD. So I think that's the winning side there.
It's funny too. You were going through the matchups, and I think one of the teams that kind of has been flying under the radar is a really, really tough matchup for people is Houston. Like,
yeah, 100%.
They're really tough against quarterbacks and receivers and pretty much everybody. Everybody talks about how good Pittsburgh's defense is, how good Kansas City is, but nobody's talking about Houston, and they're a strong matchup. Like, they're tough. So that's something to keep your eyes on when you're looking at these matchups when you're making trades and things later on.
Agree. All right, guys, we have reached our hour. Let's pop through here to a couple of our new guys in the chat. We'll answer some of those guys.
Have a super chat at the very bottom right now.
Okay, perfect. I'll get that. Hold on. If we don't answer your question before we log off here tonight, you can go to fantasysportsadvice.network or .com and sign up for our social media site where you can ask these questions, and us and many other folks will also answer your questions and help pitch in. It's a nice community to help you win your leagues. So let's pop down here to Lucius. Appreciate the help with upcoming questions. Thank you. Yep. Perfect. All right. I got a couple of his picked out here. So
appreciate you popping in.
Yeah, appreciate you in here, man. All right. Would you guys trade DHop and Chubb for Mike Evans? What do you think, Tony? How about we'll give that to you? That's a no. Don't trade for hurt guys.
What's that?
Don't trade for hurt guys.
Yeah, I don't like trading for injured players. I think that's just a rule of fantasy that I've learned to follow. So I would not make that move.
Exactly. All right, Jorge. I got offered D Adams for Hubbard. A no, right? No, I would keep Hubbard. Keep Hubbard. Let's see. Do you guys? This is from Scott. Do you guys think it's worth picking up MVS in deep PPR leagues? I mean,
I would consider. I would.
If you have a roster spot available, yeah.
If it's a deep league, yeah, he's definitely going to help you.
Yep. Let's see. Some of these are asking pretty much overall questions that are going to take too long, so I'm going to keep going. Let's see. Armin says Stafford hasn't had Puka or Kupp. Amazing after the catch. Props him up. Yeah. Yep.
That's true.
Let's see. Second best matchup. And
that's true. That's a very fair point.
It is. I thought that said
that's a fair point, Armin, as far as him being QB 23. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought that said admin when you first popped it up there. I was like, what?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Jorge, you accept this trade. You get St. Brown for Kamara. Yep. And you already have Jennings, which also good. That'll be a good flex play for you. Let's see. Lucia says, asked earlier about Thielen. I've had Bowers all year, and he's been great, but I don't have a backup tight end, and someone dropped Kraft. Waivers are super bare, and I'd have to drop Thielen to get him. Oh, yeah. Drop Thielen, get Kraft.
I would do that, yeah.
Yep. All right. 3 wide receiver, PPR league, existing wide receivers, Chase, blah, 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 blah. Yep. Okay, perfect. Yes. So definitely drop them to get that. Let's see. Connor says, what up? Do I trade Kupp for Debo and Hawkinson? I need a tight end real bad. Tony, are you trading Kupp for Debo and Hawkinson?
If he needs a tight end real bad, I would do it.
I would agree. I like that value.
Yeah, if he needs one that bad, nobody else is trading tight ends, I would do that, yeah.
Agreed. Lucius, thanks again for the super chat. Much appreciated, my man. Thanks for popping in here. Thanks to everyone for popping in here. Much appreciated. Don't forget to join us on Fantasy Football Advice or Fantasy Sports Advice Network and download the mobile app so you can have it on the go all the time. That's going to do it for us this week, guys. Join all of our other live streams throughout the week on the network, and we'll see you next time. Good luck.
Good luck. See you
later, guys.